Good evening and welcome to Netzach Yisrael's daily Kitzur Shulchan Aruch Shir. Tonight we're starting Siman Kuf Yud, Dinei Halisha v'Afiyas HaMatzos, so the laws of kneading and baking the matzahs. We're going from Sif Aleph through to Sif Zayin. Sif Aleph. Tanush Alfu V'Chametz. So if one has an oven in which chametz has been baked, kasherotza lefos bo matzos, if he wants to then bake matzos in it, tzarich lahachshiro al yidei libun ba'or, then he needs to kosher it by burning it with fire. Dehainu sheyasiku kol kach ad sheyihu nitzotzos nitozin mimenu. That means he has to heat it up to the extent that sparks will fly out from it. Because less than that amount of heat is not considered complete kashering by fire. So it will still be chomet stick. He needs to be careful that the coals are spread all over the surface of the oven. And it's correct and proper to clean off the coals and to clean out the oven completely after the kashering, after the heating. And he should wait then until it cools down a little bit. And then he can spread new coals and heat it up for the baking of the matzahs. But not immediately after the heating. He has to wait first for it to cool down somewhat. Sif base. Some have the custom to plaster the inside of the oven with new clay, so that he doesn't need to actually kasher it by heating it up until it's glowing, until the sparks are coming off. Because the chametz, which was absorbed into the roof of the oven and into its sides, who niflat al yidei libun may hashal hevet shemasikin afiyas hamatzos. Because so the chametz which has been absorbed will be driven out then by the heat from the flames which are being used to bake the matzos. Minhag yafehu, and this is a good minhag. However, he has to make sure to plaster it with at least the thickness of a finger or more over the entire surface. But with less than a finger breadth over the surface, so if it's a thin layer of plaster, then it doesn't do anything, it doesn't help, and it would still be chomet stick. Sif Gimel, Ein Loshin ve'ein Osin Hamatzos ela b'vayis makara. We mustn't knead the dough or make the matzos unless you're in a room with a roof. So it shouldn't be in an outdoor place or somewhere that happens to not have a roof. It must have a roof. V'lau keneged chalon pasuach, and similarly, he shouldn't knead or make the matzos near to an open window. Even if the sun is not currently shining through the window, so you think, oh, so maybe there's no problem with the heat, but still you should be careful not to do it near an open window. However, if the windows are closed and they're glass windows, then it is permitted if the sun is not through the window. However, if the sun is shining through the window, then the glass window doesn't help at all, because of course the sun is going to shine through, and it's still going to heat up the dough and could theoretically turn it into chametz. So what does he need to do? He needs to spread a curtain where the sun is shining. And similarly, he should be careful that the room itself is not heated up, it's not warm. There shouldn't be lots of radiators on or any other source of a great amount of heat. Sif Dalad. One shouldn't need a large amount of dough, a normal measure for taking challah. V'tov lamait, and it's preferable to have less than that. Ki shiaru abaseinu zechanam levracha, because our rabbis of blessed memory have estimated that if he has a greater amount of dough than the amount normally set aside for challah, then it's impossible to knead the dough all in one go. So a bit of the dough will be left without being worked upon. It won't have been kneaded yet. And then you have to worry that maybe this bit of dough that hasn't been worked will rise and become chametz. If he's kneading soft dough, then he shouldn't add flour to it to harden it. Okay, Sif Hey, Lo Yidchok es hakemach l'sal chamida. He shouldn't press the dough into the measure, whatever he's using to measure out the dough. Ki yesh lachush shelo yehi nilash yofer, because then you'd be worried. There's concern that he won't knead the dough properly. V'yishar b'sal chamatza mashu kemach, and then there'll be inside the matzah there'll still be some flour. And then when he's using the matzah in his cooking the matzah, then the bit of flour that's left inside the matzah will rise. He should also be careful not to leave the flour anywhere near water. So that's a little bit of powder from the flour won't fall into the water. And similarly, whoever's measuring out the flour, he should. So when he's measuring out the flour, he shouldn't go near to the person who's kneading it. And he shouldn't go near to the water. And also it's good to be careful not to rest your hand on the flour when it's not necessary to do so. When you're not to put your hand on it, because the hand itself will warm up the flour a bit, so there's a worry that it will rise. Sif Vav, Hakli shaloshin bo, tzrichen hashkiach shalo yehi bo shum nekev al sedek. So the vessel in which one is doing the kneading, you have to make sure that there's no hole in it and there's no crack in it. Because if there is, then there's some dough could get into it, and then it could become chametz. And you shouldn't leave this vessel in which you're kneading when you're doing on cushions or pillows in case it gets warm, and again there's a worry of chametz. And he should be careful that after every 18 minutes, or minutin as he translates, he has to clean the kneading vessel very well. And he also has to wash the handles of the vessel very well, so there's no flour left there and no dough left there. And similarly, the boards and the rollers with which he's rolling out the dough Yashgichu alehem, he has to take care of them, he has to supervise them. Shalai hay bashum bahem shum nekeb al sedek, so there shouldn't be any hole or crack in them. And at very least, after 18, every 18 minutes, he has to clean the boards and the rollers well. And similarly, the tools that he uses to make the holes in the matzahs, the little holes inside the matzahs. He has to be careful that there shouldn't be any dough stuck to them at all. And also the paddle that he puts the matzahs, he puts the dough that he's rolled out on the paddle, he puts it into the oven. He has to be careful that there isn't any crack in it. Put a bit of dough into it. There wouldn't be a little bit of dough inside the crack, and then it will become chametz, and then the matzah could become chametz, and you wouldn't know. You end up eating chametz on Pesach. Sif Zayin, im nafal l'salcho isa eza dava chorif. If something spicy, something pungent, fell into the dough, kagon melach al tablin al sidchai, such as salt or spices or sidchai quicklime, fila mashahu, even just a small amount, v'nilash b'salcho, and then it was kneaded into it. Kol ha'isasura, then all of the dough is forbidden. Mishum demishamemesham, because such a thing will warm up the dough a bit, so there's worry of chametz. Then nimtza b'salcho isa garin tavua. But if he found inside the dough a grain of corn, of produce, so a grain of wheat, then yital min ha'isa ka'avi etzba, he should take out from the dough a finger's breadth of the dough, all around saviv hagarin, around the kernel. V'yashlech, and he should throw it away. V'hasha'ah muta, and then the rest of the dough is permitted. He can carry on using that to make the matzahs. Thank you. Good evening.